Buenos dias, chicos y chicas. Good morning, boys and girls. Nice to see you guys all today. Hey, well, welcome back to another edition. It's Monday. It's April 30th, about 10:26, 10:27 on the old analog clock. And we're back. Today we're going to do another edition. It's a Monday, so we're going to do another edition of What Are We Going to Do Today? That's what we're going to call it. That's what I'm going to call it. You know what we're going to do today? We're going to sing a little song. This song goes out to my neighbors up the street, the Hottons. Hi, guys. De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de fuera. De colores el arco iris que vemos lucir, y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Canta el gallo con el kirikiri, kirikiri. La gallina con el cara. Los pollitos con el pío. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores me gustan colores, me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. I love singing that song. I just love singing that song. Funny thing about that song, that was one of the first songs that I ever sang in front of a big group of people. Ruth Ann Friedland, Cherryland Elementary School, Oakland, California. She was my master teacher. She was the reason, well, one of the reasons I decided I wanted to be a first grade teacher. Her and then Susan Meyer. You know who you are, Mrs. Meyer. But yeah, Ruth Ann Friedland. I got to be her student teacher for like 8 months of her first grade year in Cherryland Elementary School, Oakland, California. If you know Ruth Ann, let her know that I'm still doing this. And yeah, she was so cool. I loved watching the way she got to be in first grade, which is why I wanted to be a first grade teacher. And that spring, she let me sing this song in front of the whole school on some weekend celebration festival thing we had. It was so cool. If you can imagine Mr. Maldarelli standing there on a blacktop on a hot spring afternoon in California in front of like 500 people as like a 21-year-old going... That was me. Look at me now. No, never mind. Well, we're back. Hey, you guys interested in hearing a story? I wanted to read this story to you. This is a story called La Mariposa. Can you say that? Say La Mariposa. Can you guess what La Mariposa means? It means butterfly. And the interesting thing about this story, got a dedication on the inside right here. It says, to Isla, my oldest, a wonderful child who is as beautiful as the wings of the butterfly. And it's signed by Francisco Jimenez, who just so happens to be the author of the story. Kind of cool, huh? And the other cool part of the story is he's a friend of ours. Maya, my wife's Maya's best friend Susie, and her husband Miguel, who live in California in the Bay Area. And Miguel's dad is Francisco Jimenez, and he's a professor at the University of Santa Clara in the Bay Area. And he is also an author, and he wrote this story in 1998, and he sent us a copy when Isla was just a wee baby on Christmas. It's called La Mariposa. Early Monday morning, Francisco got up to get ready. Now quickly, he pulled on his overalls, which he hated because he thought the suspenders made him look foolish. But he found the soft, bright flannel shirt Mama had just bought at the Goodwill store. And then he put on his favorite cap. Quítatele en la clase, his older brother, Roberto, warned him, for he had been to school before and he knew it was bad manners to wear his hat in school. You know what I'm talking about. Gracias, Francisco told him, taking it off. But after his breakfast and just before heading out, he decided to wear the cap. Papa always wore one, and how could Francisco feel dressed for first grade without it? He would remember to take it off in class. Adios, Mama, Francisco and Roberto called as they headed out to catch the school bus. Adios, hijos, she answered. Que Dios lo bendiga. Papa had already left to thin the lettuce, the only work he could find in late January. And Mama stayed home to take care of little Jose and to set up their new home in Tent City. Now, when that school bus arrived, Francisco took the window seat next to his brother so that he could watch the rows of lettuce and cauliflower go whizzing by. And the bus kept stopping to pick up kids, and with each stop, the noise on the bus got louder and louder and louder. You know what I'm talking about? Raise your hand if you understand the noise on the bus getting louder and louder and louder. Now, Francisco did not know what any of these kids were saying because he could only speak Spanish, and they were all speaking English. And he was getting a headache. Roberto had to close his eyes, and he is frowning. And Francisco did not disturb him. He figured his brother was probably getting a headache too. So when they got to school, Roberto walked Francisco to the principal's office, and Mr. Sims, who was the principal, who was this tall, red-headed man, listened very patiently to Roberto. And Roberto said, "My little brother is in primer grado, first grade." So Mr. Sims walked Francisco to the first grade classroom, and as soon as he saw the bright electric lights, the shiny wood floor, and the warm heater in the corner, Francisco liked that room. It was not at all like his family's green army tent with the hard dirt floor. Now, Mr. Sims introduced Francisco to his teacher, Miss Scalapino, who smiled and said his name over and over. It was the only word Francisco understood the whole time that she and the principal talked. Francisco, that was it. They repeated it each time they glanced at him. And after Miss Sims left, she showed Francisco to his desk at the end of the row near the window. There were no other kids in the room. It was just him. So he sat at his desk and he ran his hand over the wooden top. It had scratches in it and ink spots, and he lifted open the desk and he saw crayons, a ruler, and a pencil. And he looked around the room, and right underneath the jar, right next to his desk, right under the window next to his desk, a caterpillar in a large jar. It was yellowish green, and it moved really slowly without making any sounds. Well, just as he was about to reach out into the jar and touch the caterpillar, the bell rang and kids all came in. Miss Scalapino started speaking to the class, and Francisco understood not a word that she said. And the more she spoke, the more he wanted to be home. He tried to pay attention because he wanted to understand, but by the end of the day, he was so tired of hearing Miss Scalapino talk because the sounds made no sense to him. He got a bad headache, and that night when he went to bed, he just kept hearing her voice in his head, probably like some of you guys with my voice in your head. Lo siento. For days, Francisco tried to listen, but he always went home with a headache until he learned a way out. When his head began to hurt from trying to listen, he would let his mind wander. Sometimes he imagined himself flying over the fields, and he would be flying up to his father and say, "Hola, papa," he would say, landing next to him. But Francisco was careful to not let the teacher catch him thinking about flying. No. He would look at the teacher and pretend he was listening. "You don't do that to me, do you? Mustafa, Do you? Papa had told him it was disrespectful not to pay attention, especially to grown-ups. Well, when the teacher spoke the children's names, though, he would listen. He liked the sound. Molly sounded like mole in Spanish, and Pat sounded like pato. And then he learned one kid named Curtis. Curtis was the biggest and the most popular kid in class. He was always chosen the captain when they were forming teams. Francisco was the smallest kid in class, and he did not know English, so he was always chosen last. Well, Francisco liked Arthur better. Arthur was one of the boys who knew a little bit of Spanish. During recess, they would play on the swings, and Francisco would pretend to be a Mexican movie star like Jorge Negrete or Pedro Infante, riding a horse and singing the corridos he heard on the car radio. He taught the songs to Arthur as they swung back and forth, going as high as they could. But if Miss Scalapino heard them speaking Spanish, she would say "no" with her whole body. Her head turned left and right 100 times, and she moved her fingers side to side like a windshield wiper. "English! English!" she would repeat. Arthur avoided Francisco whenever she was around. Lots of times during recess, Francisco just stayed with the caterpillar. Sometimes it was hard to spot him because he blended right in with the green leaves and twigs. And what do we call that when a creature kind of blends in? Camouflage. You got it. So every day, Francisco bought him leaves from the pepper trees that grew on the playground. And just in front of the caterpillar, lying on top of the cabinet, was a picture book of caterpillars and butterflies. Francisco liked to look through it page by page, studying all the pictures and running his fingers lightly over the caterpillars and the bright wings of the butterflies and the many patterns on them. He knew caterpillars turned into butterflies because Roberto had told him. But just how did they do it? How long did it take? The words written underneath each picture in big black letters could tell him. He just knew it. So he tried to figure them out by looking at the pictures. He did this so many times, he would close his eyes and see those words, but he did not understand what they meant. Well, by the time Papa started topping carrots in March, art had become Francisco's favorite time at school. He did not understand Miss Scalapino when she explained the art lessons, so she let him do whatever he wanted. He drew all kinds of animals, but mostly birds and butterflies. He sketched them in pencil, and then he colored them using every color in his crayon box. He got pretty good at drawing butterflies. Miss Scalapino even tacked one of his pictures up on the board for everyone to see. After a couple of weeks, it disappeared, and he did not know how to ask where his picture had gone. Well, one cold Thursday morning during recess, Francisco was the only kid on the playground without a jacket. The principal must have noticed him shivering because after school, he took him to his office and pulled a green jacket from a large cardboard box full of used clothes, probably the lost and found. Do you know where all your jackets are? He handed it to Francisco and he gestured for him to try it on. It smelled like graham crackers. Francisco put it on, but it was too big, so he rolled up those sleeves a little bit. Then he took it home and showed it off to his parents. He liked it because it was green and it hid those suspenders that he thought made him look foolish. Do you remember that part? The next day, he wore that new jacket to school, and he was on the playground waiting for the first bell to ring when he saw Curtis coming at him like an angry bull. Curtis aimed his head at Francisco, pulled his arm straight back with his hands clenched, and ran up to him yelling. Now, Francisco did not understand him, but he knew it had something to do with the jacket because Curtis began to pull it off of him. And the next thing he knew, he and Curtis were on the ground wrestling, and kids were circling around them. He could hear them yelling Curtis's name and something else. Francisco knew he had no chance because Curtis was so much bigger and so much stronger, but he held tight onto that jacket. Why should he let him take it? Curtis pulled on one of the sleeves so hard that it ripped right at the shoulder. He pulled on the pocket too, and it ripped as well. The story always makes me nervous. And then Miss Scalapino's face appeared above them. She pushed Curtis off Francisco, grabbed Francisco by the back of his collar, and picked him up off of the ground, and it took all of the power he had not to start crying. Now later, Arthur told Francisco in Spanish that Curtis said the jacket was his and that he had lost it at the beginning of the year. He also told Francisco that the teacher said Curtis and he, Francisco, were being punished. They had to sit on the bench during all of the recesses that week. And for the rest of the day, Francisco could not even pretend to pay attention. He laid his head on his desk. He closed his eyes. He couldn't even imagine himself flying over the fields to Papa. The teacher called his name. He didn't answer. He heard her walk up to him, and she gently shook him by the shoulders, and again, he didn't answer. Miss Scalapino must have thought he was just dead asleep because she left him alone, even when it was time for recess and everyone left the room. Now, once the room was quiet, he slowly opened his eyes. He had had them closed for so long that the sunlight coming through the window was just too bright, so he rubbed his eyes with the back of his hands and looked for the caterpillar in that jar. Where was it? Was it hidden? He put his hand in the jar and he rustled the leaves, and then he saw it. The caterpillar had spun itself into a cocoon. It had attached itself to a small twig, and now it looked like a tiny cotton bulb. And gently, Francisco stroked it with his finger. It seemed so peaceful. Well, at the end of the school day, Miss Scalapino gave Francisco a note to take home to his parents. Papa and Mama did not know how to read, but as soon as they saw his swollen lip and scratches on his cheek, they figured out what had happened. And they both frowned and glared at him. Do it. Papa finally said, "But it's good you didn't disrespect the teacher." Well, Francisco never saw that green jacket again. It had gone back to Curtis, who didn't wear it anymore because the days were getting warmer. Of course. Francisco never spoke to Curtis, but slowly he began to say a few English words like thank you and okay to Arthur and the other kids, and sometimes to his teacher. On Wednesday, May 23rd, a few days before the end of the school year, Miss Scalapino told everyone to sit down. Then Francisco did not understand any more of what she said until he heard her say, "Francisco," and she held up a blue ribbon. And from her desk, she picked up that drawing of his butterfly that had disappeared many weeks before. And she held it up high for everyone to see. She walked up to Francisco, handed him the drawing and a blue ribbon that had a number 1 printed on it in gold. Que sorpresa! He had received first prize for his drawing. He was so proud, he wanted to run home right away to tell Papa and Mama. All of the other kids, including Curtis, rushed over to see the ribbon. And that afternoon, during a free period, Francisco went over to check on that caterpillar. He turned the jar around, trying to see the cocoon, and then he gasped. It was beginning to crack open. "Look, look," he said, pointing to it, and the whole class, like a swarm of bees, rushed over to his counter. And Miss Scalapino took the jar and placed it on top of a desk in the middle of the classroom so everyone could see it. For a while they all stood there, watching the butterfly come out of its cocoon in slow motion like magic. At the end of the day, just before the last bell, Miss Scalapino picked up the jar and took the class outside to the playground. She placed the jar on the ground and everyone circled around. Francisco had a hard time seeing over the other kids, so Miss Scalapino called him and motioned for him to open the jar. He broke through the circle, he knelt on the ground, he unscrewed the top, and swiftly the butterfly flew into the air, fluttering its orange and black wings up and down. "Que hermosa," Francisco said, but softly, under his breath, so no one would hear him speaking Spanish. Miss Scalapino must have heard, though. "Que hermosa," she repeated, smiling down at Francisco. How beautiful. And after school, Francisco waited in line for his bus in front of the playground. In his right hand, he had the blue ribbon. In his left hand, he had the drawing. And Arthur and Curtis came up to him and stood behind to wait for the bus. And Curtis motioned for Francisco to show him that drawing again. And so Francisco held it up so that Curtis could see. And Arthur said to Francisco in Spanish, "He really likes it, Francisco." "How do you say es tuyo in Inglés?" he asked Arthur. And Arthur said, "It's yours, es tuyo." And so Francisco said, "It's yours," and handed the drawing to Curtis. And that's the end of the story. And you can see the final picture with Curtis and Arthur and Francisco. I wonder, let's see, the author's name is Francisco Jimenez. Huh, what do you know? This is his story, his first grade story. I want to thank the Jimenez family for sharing the beautiful story with us, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Kind of reminds me of something Martin Luther King used to say. This is a perfect example of you can't meet hate with hate, right? You meet hate with love. Can you guys say that with me? We do that in my classroom. We say, don't meet hate with hate. You meet hate with love, and guess what happens? I'll be right back. Hey, well, we're back. You know, reading that La Mariposa, the butterfly, totally reminded me of a song that we're going to just do right now. Plus, some of Isla's friends from Chehalem have requested this one. It's happening. You all know this one. Metamorphosis, 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 that's the word for change. Metamorphosis, 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 that's the word for change. If you are a caterpillar, you become a butterfly. Caterpillar, butterfly, caterpillar, butterfly. Metamorphosis, 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 that's the word for change. If you are a tadpole, you'll become a croaking frog. Tadpole, croaking frog, tadpole, croaking frog. Metamorphosis, 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 that's the word for change. If you are a first grader, you become a second grader. If you are a second grader, you become a third grader. If you are a third grader, you become a fourth grader. If you are a fourth grader, you become a fifth grader. If you are a fifth grader, you become a middle school kid. Oh my God. Metamorphosis, 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 that's the word for change. Metamorphosis, 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 that's the word for change. Which reminds me of another song that we should totally do right now. Very similar. Photosynthesis, 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 that's the air we breathe. Photosynthesis, 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 that's the air we breathe. Plants give us oxygen so that we can breathe it in. Oxygen, breathe it in. Oxygen, breathe it in. Photosynthesis, 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 that's the air we breathe. Plantas hacen azúcar para nosotros. Uno, dos, glucose. Uno, dos, glucose. Photosynthesis, 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 that's the air we breathe. Photosynthesis, 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 that's the air we breathe. Hey everybody, we are back. Sorry, I'm gonna mess with my microphone a bit. We're back. All right, we're gonna go ahead and update our days here. We're gonna go with the 29th. Yeah, that's right. And it'll be so much nicer to be able to draw on the actual smartboard. That means today is the, what? 30th. Good, get those THs out there. 30th. Nicely done. Bam. Let's go ahead and move them on over. Let's start with the today is. So today is, say it. That's right. Today is Monday. If today is Monday, that means yesterday was Sunday. And if yesterday was Sunday, today is Monday. Tomorrow absolutely will be Tuesday. No matter which way you cut it, it's coming. Tuesday's coming. All right, my friends. That is our calendar. Let's go ahead and check out the wacky holiday today. Today is... Oh, it's Neighbor Day. Won't you be my neighbor? Make sure you, well, don't approach your neighbors, but make sure you yell at them from really far away. In fact, let's do that today, friends. Anytime you see a neighbor, I want you to yell at the top of your lungs from 25 feet away, Happy Neighbor Day! Let's do it on three. 1, 2, 3. Happy Neighbor Day! Yeah, they will love that. Neighbors love when you yell at them. I'm telling you, boys and girls, it's true. What else can we do today? Let's check out Mr. Maldarelli's number of the day. I'm just going to go super fast. 10! Right? But then I read, somebody made a comment. Don did. Don Demori loved this part. So we're going to ramp it up for Don Demori as well. We'll do a couple of these. Yes, I just lost a puppet off of the back. Let's do a couple of these. You guys ready? Beat me. 6. I will go a little bit slower. I may have been excited yesterday. 8. No, I may be a little bit excited today. Don, come on. Come on, Don. 8. Okay, I let you beat me that time. Let's do it again. We'll do a bunch of these. Got it? 7. Let's try this. 5 plus 3 equals 8. Good. Beat me. You ready? Here we go. 4 plus 4 equals 8. Try this one. 4 plus 2 equals 6. That's hard to do the number sentence. Let's just go back to saying the number. I like that better. It's faster. 6! All right. Let's get a little fancier. All right, Don, we're going to ramp this up for Don Demori. That's right. Here we go. 16. Is that right? Yeah, that is right. Oh, see, now what method did you use? I didn't see it. I should have used the strategy of going doubles first, because 5 plus 5 is super 10. I mean, right? We got 5 fingers on each hand. And then I should have just added the 6, but I didn't. I got stuck up here with the 11, and then sorry. 9. Here we go. 6. What did you use for your strategy? I counted by 2s. I skip counted. 2, 4, 6. 12. Yeah, I did doubles actually that time because I first saw 5 plus 6. I knew that was 6, and then I saw the other 6. Let's do one more of these. 12. Nice. All right, let's ramp it up a bit. Here we go. Ready? 21? I think that's 21. 12 plus 4 is 16, plus 5 is 21? Sure. Let's try this one. 14. 13. 13. 12. Come on, Don. 13. 12. 18. See, now I think I'm just doing this for me. I don't even know if anybody's playing this anymore. I love this game, so I'm just going to keep doing it. If you're an older kid, come on, bring it on. 14. Grace Ward, come on. 16. Oh! I did doubles that time. 5 plus 5 is 10. 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, should we go a little bit more? Okay, here we go. Woo! 19. Check it for me. 19? Is that 19? That's totally 19. 18. Check it. I'm totally right, right? I think I'm right. Yeah, I'm right. All right, and finally, for the piece de résistance. Ready? Okay, I'm not just going to screw around this time. I'm going to really do this one. $36. Ooh, that's totally 36, right? 5 plus 5 is 10. I went 10 plus 6 is 16, plus 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24, plus 6 more is 30, plus doubles is 6, so 36. One more, okay, ready? Here we go. $32, $31. I was all over the place there. I see double fives for 10. I see 6 and 4 for 10. That's 20, 28, 32, 35. Let's do our today's number of the day. I have no idea what our school day is. For those of you just tuning in, we do a number of the day corresponding with how many days of school we've been in, but gosh, it seems really random lately. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick an arbitrary number. I'm going to go ahead and pick, let's go with 126. That's what we're going to say is our number of the day. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. And we're going to go ahead and put this in word form as well. Here in the air. 126. And a couple years back, they stopped having us say 126. I have no idea why. I'm sure somebody somewhere out there who created some brilliant math curriculum had a great idea. Don't call it 126, it's 126. Let's make sure that I have it right though, okay? That would be awesome. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna make a little shape, make a circle, and let's fill that circle in. What's your favorite color? Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Mine's green. Here we go. Let's go ahead and count together. You guys ready? Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I don't hear you. 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115, 120, 125. Now you have to switch to ones, and we'll go with 126 right there. Cool. All right, my friends. I think I'm going to go ahead and save this one. Let's come back to our smartboard and let's see what's happening with our eagles today. All right. Well, here is our eagle cam. We're going to just go straight to live today because I have something else really neat to show you. Oh. As if that's not neat enough. She's just doing her job, hanging out on those eggs. These, they are starting to look for the hatch. It's called the hatch watch. That should be happening like on the 3rd. This is what's happening right now in the egg. We are at day 29, I believe. This is day 3. Down here is what day we're on. Look at that, how cool that is. The elbow and the knee. Digits form. Beak development begins at day 6. The egg tooth at 7. Oh, feathers. Ah. Claws develop at day 10. Butt feathers? No, tail feathers. There we go. Day 12. Oh, little eyelids. Day 14. Day 16, day 17. I think we're at day 20. I can't remember, between 28 and 30. Here's 18, 19, day 20. Now remember, this is for a chicken. Oh. How cool is that? Poultry Hub, poultryhub.org. Right on, Poultry Hub. So that was actually for, that was for a chicken. We are not currently looking at a chicken. We're looking at a bald eagle. So they stay in the egg a little bit longer than, where did it go? They stay in the egg longer, but not much longer. That's 24 days for a chick, and eagles are like 35 days, and we're like on day 28 for one of them, I believe. So we're getting super, super duper quick. Yeah, that hatches right up here. It says the hatch range, April 1st to April 5th. There's actually 2 nests that they're looking at. But this is what we're looking at, folks, so stay tuned because there's going to be an eaglet in the next week for sure. Oh, that is... pretty amazing. All right, say bye for now. Hey guys, well, thanks for tuning in today and hanging out. I hope you have a great day. It is Neighbor Day. Don't forget, go outside and yell out your neighbors. Hi, neighbors! They'll totally love it. Who wouldn't love that? Keep your distance. Social distancing. Wash your hands. Say it with me. Wash your hands. 20 seconds. It's a long time. Say the alphabet like 1 or 2 times, 3 times. Long time, okay? I will apologize in advance. I logged into my YouTube account yesterday and I got granted permission to make longer videos than 15 minutes. So yeah, if you know me at all, if I'm given the opportunity to talk longer, there's a good chance I'll take it. Sorry. Go ahead and tune out. If you want to, you can tune me right out. Maya and the girls do it all the time. Ask them. It's true. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time, all right? Bye for now, you guys. Have a great day.